Good morning, students. Good morning. So once again, beta, welcome back in social science live classes. Okay, for standard 8. Okay. So yesterday we have started. Yesterday that means on Saturday we had started with the revision. Okay, and Saturday we have done basically the classification of resources, okay, and we have discussed about the classification of natural resource. Okay, friends. So, and there is one problem that occurs, okay, in history. By mistake, in history chapter 2nd and in history chapter 3rd, okay beta, the theoretical questions, some of the questions are repeated. Got it? So what you need to do is, you need to learn the answer of any one, okay, for the same question. If the question is there in chapter 2nd notes and if the question is there in chapter 3rd notes, ठीक है, यदि क्वेश्चन चैप्टर 2nd के नोट्स में भी है और वही क्वेश्चन चैप्टर 3rd के नोट में भी है, तो किसी भी एक चैप्टर का नोट्स क्या कर लो, लर्न कर लो, एंड दैट आंसर यू कैन राइट. इज इट क्लियर बेटा? इज देयर एनी डाउट? किसी भी एक चैप्टर में से क्या लर्न कर लो, नोट्स लर्न कर लो, ठीक है, एंड दैट आंसर यू कैन राइट, और वही आंसर आप क्या कर सकते हैं, लिख सकते हैं. इज देयर एनी डाउट? समझ में आ गई बेटा? बात समझ में आ गई? यस, ओजस्वी, ओजस्वी, गॉट इट, है ना? एंड प्लीज इन्फॉर्म योर फ्रेंड्स ऑन व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप टू ज्वाइन द क्लास फास्ट. अपने फ्रेंड्स को एक इंफॉर्मेशन भेज दो टू ज्वाइन द व्हाट्सएप लाइव क्लास फास्ट. ओके, चलिए. सो yesterday, that is in Saturday's session, we have a discussion on the classification of natural resources. Got it beta? So today we are going to discuss about the human made resources. Okay, what is it? Human made resources. Okay, so just so that is what the chapter 1, okay, resources. So let us start on human made resources. Okay, so as the name suggests, okay, as the topic suggests, human made resources. So human made resources are all those resources which are made by human being. Okay, वो सारे resources जो कौन बनाता है, human being. Okay, so the resources made by human being are considered as human made resources. Okay beta. So the resources made by human being are human made resources. Okay, it means the human being do some changes. Human being do some changes in the available. Okay, human being do some changes in the available natural resources. Okay, so the human being do some changes in the available natural resources. Human being do some changes in the available natural resources to make them more useful. Okay, so human being do some changes in the available natural resources to make them more useful. Okay, these products, these products or things, these products or things then called as, these products or things then called as human made resources. Okay beta. So what the human being is doing? Beta, good morning. It is not good afternoon. Okay. So what are the human made resources? Human made resources are those resources which are made by human being. Now how the human being is making the resources? Okay, and that is what. So human being do some changes in the available natural resources. After the changes made by the human being in these resources, after the changes made by human being in these resources, now the resources are more useful. ठीक है, सो ह्यूमन बीइंग क्या करते हैं, रिसोर्सेज में चेंज करेंगे और उन चेंजेस को करने के बाद में वो जो रिसोर्सेज है वो क्या होंगे, ज्यादा यूजफुल होंगे. गॉट इट बेटा. और then these resources are what, human made resources. Okay, for example we can take the wheat. Okay, now wheat we are getting from nature. Wheat we are getting from nature because it is the first product from agriculture. Okay, so we can say that wheat is a natural resource. Beta, if it is buffering, it is not a problem from my network side. Okay, it is the your network which is creating problem. Well, so wheat is a natural resource. Okay, now, but we are not able to eat wheat, okay, to satisfy our hunger. हम वीट नहीं खा सकते, गेहूं के दाने हम खाना हमारे लिए क्या होगा, इट इज बैड फॉर द डाइजेशन. ओके, वी आर नॉट ईटिंग वीट. व्हाट वी डू, वी फर्स्ट convert the wheat into flour. We first convert the wheat into flour. It means that in this natural resource wheat, we do some changes. In this natural resource wheat, we do some changes. Okay, so when the changes are done, what we got? We got flour. जब changes हुए तो हमने क्या किया, वीट को किस में कन्वर्ट किया बेटा, फ्लोर में. देन फ्रॉम फ्लोर व्हाट वी आर मेकिंग, वी आर मेकिंग ब्रेड, chapati, okay, biscuits or many other edible items. Got it? So the flour is a human-made resource. Flour is beta human-made resource, and then the bread, chapati, biscuits, everything is what beta? Everything is a human-made resource. Okay, so this is the example that I have taken from our day-to-day life. Got it beta? Likewise, okay, the buildings, okay, the computer system, this entire system of information technology, the internet technology, okay, the water bottle from or in which you are keeping the water, the mobile phone that we are using, okay, the hospital building, trains, buses, macro rails, everything is made by human being. Okay, so all these things are known as what, or all these things are called as human made resource. इन सभी चीजों को हम क्या कहेंगे बेटा, ह्यूमन मेड रिसोर्स. ओके, द टेक्नोलॉजी developed by the human being, the technology developed by the human being is also a human made resource. Got it? So anything which is made by human being is human made resource. ठीक है, कोई भी चीज जो कौन बनाएगा, ह्यूमन बीइंग ने बनाई है, वो क्या कहलाएगी बेटा, इट इज ह्यूमन मेड रिसोर्स. Got it? Now, then the next topic which is given in this chapter, okay, the next broad classification of the resources is what? Human resources. What is it beta? It is human resources. Okay, now what is the meaning of human resources? Okay, so all the human beings, all the human beings can be, all the human beings can be considered as human resources. Okay, all the human beings can be considered as human resources if they, just a minute beta, are not in. Wait, beta, okay? I'll speak loudly. Now is the voice coming? Is the voice coming now? Got it, okay. So actually what happens while writing, I lowered my voice, okay. Now I think it is okay. So all the human beings can be considered as human resources they if they are involved, if they are involved, if they are involved in any production activity, okay, if they are involved in any production activity or services. Okay, now what does it mean? All the human beings can be considered as human resources. It means each and every human being got birth on earth can be considered as a human resource. But the human being must involved in any production activity और सर्विसेज. सारे ह्यूमन बींग्स को हम क्या कर सकते हैं? सॉरी बेटा, ओके. सो ऑल द ह्यूमन बींग्स can be considered as human resources if they are involved in any production activity or services. Got it? Okay. So what does it means? Each and every human being can be a human resource. Only one condition: if the person is involved in any production activity. Now what does it mean? The person must be working. Person must be working in any field. उस व्यक्ति को कहीं ना कहीं क्या करना जरूरी है? काम करना जरूरी है. वो व्यक्ति काम कर रहा है. Okay, either in any product, production of any product or in a services. ठीक है, या तो किसी वस्तु का निर्माण कर रहा है, प्रोडक्ट प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है, और either the person is involved in providing the services. Got it? So that is what the human resource. For example, if we have plumber. Okay, so what the plumber do? The plumber is repairing, okay, the sanitary wares. ठीक है, नल वगैरह ठीक करता है ना. So the plumber is involved in providing services. Okay, then barber. What the barber do? Cuts hair. Okay, so barber is providing services. Got it? For example, an engineer. Okay, so what an engineer is doing? Engineering or an engineer is what is happening, beta? The voice level is quite okay from my side. Because I am speaking loud enough. If the voice is not coming, okay, please increase the voice level from your mobile phone or use the earphones. So engineer is involved in production activity. Got it? So plumber is providing the services, barber is providing the services. Engineer involved in production activity of any product. So plumber, barber and engineer we can consider these three as a human resource. But if there is any person, if there is any person who is not doing anything, simply sitting at home, idle, not doing any job, not involved in any production activity, person is not involved in any services, just sitting at home and eating food. In that case, the person can't be considered as a human resource, because what is our definition of resource? Someone who is satisfying the needs, जरूरत पूरा कर रहा है. If someone is satisfying the needs, then it is resource. Okay, so if there is any human being who is not working anything, who is not working, not involved in any service production, not involved in any thing, or not involved in production of any product, then the person cannot be considered as a human resource. Okay, then the person can't be considered as human resource. Got it? That is what the definition of human resources. Is it clear? Okay. Then one more thing is there, one definition, and that is related to what? Human resource development. Okay. One techno term is there. The term is human resource development. Okay, there is one term which is being given in your textbook. Okay, what is that term? Human resource development. Okay, now what is the meaning of human resource development? Okay, human resource development means improving the quality of people's skill so that they are able to create more resources, is known as human resource development. Okay, so what is it? Improving the quality of human skills, improving the quality of human skills, so that improving the quality of human skills so that they would be so improving the quality of human skills so that they would be able to produce more valuable goods. Okay, so what is human resource development? Human resource development means improving the quality of the human skills. ठीक है, जो ह्यूमन बींग्स हैं उनको क्या करना, और भी ज्यादा डेवलप करवाना, उनकी स्किल्स डेवलप करवाना, so that they would be able to produce more resources as well as they would be able to produce मोर वैल्यूएबल गुड्स, ठीक है, ज्यादा से ज्यादा रिसोर्सेज भी प्रोड्यूस कर सकें और उनकी वैल्यूएशन, उनका जो क्वालिटी है वो भी कैसी होनी चाहिए, ज्यादा अच्छी होना चाहिए। ओके, सो दैट इज व्हाट द ह्यूमन रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट। गॉट इट? ओके, so that's all for these two topics. Okay, the human made resources, then human resources, and within the human resources we have one more topic. What is it? Human resource development. Arya Tapase, Arya Tapase, beta, is my voice is audible? Is my voice is audible without using earphones? Please tell me, is my voice audible without using earphones? Arya Tapase, is my voice audible without using earphones? Arya Tapase, is my voice audible without using earphones? God. Okay. So the next topic that we are going to work out is conservation. What is it? Conservation of resources. Okay. The next topic that we are going to work out is conservation of resources. Okay. So conservation of resources means when the human being is using the resources carefully and giving them time to get renewed. Yes, I was trying to do some adjustments so that the voice could be audible. Beta, from my side, I am speaking too loudly, okay? So it may be some technical issue as far as concerned about the voice, okay? So we'll try to resolve that. So what is the conservation of resources, okay? So conservation of resources basically means using resources, using resources carefully, using resources carefully and giving, using resources carefully and giving them time, resources carefully and giving them time to renew is called resource conservation. Okay. So what is the resource conservation? Using resources carefully and giving them time. Okay. Using resources carefully and giving them time to renew is called resource conservation. What does it mean? The resources are valuable for the human being. They are satisfying our needs. It means that we cannot use the resources indiscriminately so that the resources would be exhausted very soon. Okay, so what the human being need to do, what the human being need to do, okay, the human being has to use the resources in a judicial way. The human being need to use the resources in a judicial way so that we will be able to utilize the resources for our present need. At the same time, the resources would be saved, they would be available for the future. Okay, so that is what the resource conservation. Got it? There is one more term which is being given in our textbook, and that term is also very important. Okay, what is it? The term is sustainable development. Okay, so what is the term? The term is sustainable development. Okay, now beta, this is also very important term. Got it? And it will come to you a number of times in standard 8 also, in geography again it will be repeated in standard 9th and 10th. Okay, so please learn this concept very carefully. Okay, so what is sustainable development? Okay, so the sustainable development is what? Balancing the need. Okay, sustainable development is balancing the need to use the, okay, the sustainable development is balancing the need to use the resources, balancing the need to use the resources and to conserve them, balancing the need to use the resources and to conserve them for future. Okay, I am repeating, balancing the need to use the resources and to conserve them for future is known as, okay, is known as sustainable development. Okay, so what is sustainable development? sustainable development is all balancing the need to use the resources and to conserve them for future. What does it actually means? In policy of sustainable development, in policy of sustainable development, we have to balance these two conditions. What are the two conditions? Using the resources for fulfilling the present need. Using the resources for fulfilling the present need. At the same time, while satisfying the present need, we have to take care that the same resources will be conserved, they will be saved for the future generation. Okay, so sustainable development में क्या होगा बेसिकली, हमें रिसोर्सेस को इस तरीके से यूज करना है कि हमारी प्रेजेंट जरूरतें, आज की जरूरतें भी फुलफिल हो जाए. समझ में आ रहा है? व्हाट इज सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट? सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट में क्या होगा? फुलफिलिंग अवर प्रेजेंट नीड. हमारी आज की जो जरूरतें हैं वो भी पूरी होनी चाहिए, कमी नहीं होना चाहिए, परंतु हम इतना ज्यादा एक्स्ट्रा भी यूज ना करें कि फ्यूचर जनरेशन के लिए ना बचे. ओके, व्हाट डज इट एक्चुअली मीन्स कि जितनी जरूरत हो, आज की जितनी जरूरत है उतना ही हमको क्या करना है? रिसोर्सेज यूज करना है. ओके, वेस्ट नहीं करना है, एक्स्ट्रा यूज नहीं करना है, बेकार जाने नहीं देना है. ओके, तो जब हम एक्स्ट्रा यूज नहीं करेंगे, रिसोर्सेज को बेकार जाने नहीं देंगे, तो व्हाट हैपेंस? The resources will satisfy our present need, and the resources which are left, they will be conserved, they will be left for the future generation. वो जो resources हैं वो किसके लिए बचेंगे? अब future generation के लिए बचेंगे. Okay, so that is what sustainable development. Okay, for that what should each and every person must do? So each person must contribute by reducing consumption. Then he has to work out for recycling and reusing the things. Okay, so if we adopt the policy, okay, now what is or which policy is important in sustainable development? The first policy is beta reduce. What is the first policy? The first policy is reduce. Reduce means don't use in excessive manner. Okay, then reuse. Reuse means if possible use the resource number of times. Okay, and then recycle. Recycle means again if the resource you are not able to reuse number of times, okay, because of it torn down or maybe it got wear and tear, in that case what we have to do beta? Recycle. So these are the three pillars of sustainable development. I am repeating again, these are the three pillars or three main aspects of sustainable development. What are these three beta? Reduce, reuse and recycle. Got? So that's all as far as concerned about this chapter. Okay beta, just the last page is left, and in that last page of the chapter it is given some principles of sustainable development. Got it beta? What is being written? Some principles of sustainable development. Okay beta, so tomorrow we will have a small discussion on these 5 or 6 principles, and then we'll continue our revision with chapter second of geography. Okay, so that's all for today's live class. Thank you, friends. Goodbye.